Welcome to video 115, Empire Total War, United Provinces, played on hard. It's the turn end, and we're just going through the Austrian moves now. I don't think there was much to show the British moves anyway. I don't think we could see anything. Somebody's come up with an excellent suggestion for the British, which is to take somewhere that they want and then trade it for New York before the revolution. I'm giving that a bit of thought at the moment. Interesting idea. I've only ever used indefinite access, which is the one that he's suggesting, in order to get troops out of Mexico. I've only ever used that in order to take somewhere, would you believe? I get an agreement, an alliance or whatever, and do indefinite access, put troops next to all these major cities and things, and then just take them all at once and wipe them completely out of the game. Bit naughty, I know, but that's the way that it tends to work. He feeling secure with me protecting his cities and being an ally. You usually find your ally takes his main troops elsewhere, so leaves himself vulnerable. But anyhow, that's not the point. The point is that it's one way of getting those British troops out of Mexico, if I need to get them out of there. Not that they're causing me any harm. And also it's an interesting thought as to how to get New York from the British without actually fighting them, and therefore achieving the objectives before you get to the end of the game, because I was going to wait until the rebellion, of course. Or revolution, as the Americans would call it. Okay, what we're doing now is just checking the happiness of places like the southern parts of Spain, well, Gibraltar I should say, and Morocco, just to see how settled they are, because I took a large army out of there, if you remember, and put it on a fleet, sent it over to the Indian Ocean, and it's worth just checking now to make sure that everything's quite stable there. Really just moving around dragoons more than anything else. See how many dragoons it requires in Tangier in Morocco. Interesting thing, taxation. If you tax too much, particularly the peasant classes, then the population doesn't grow and you don't get new villages. You don't get new villages, you don't get new industries. So you're not able then to raise so many taxes in the future. So really, increased taxes should be something that you raise in order to, or that you do, rather, you increase your taxes in order to fund something on a temporary basis and then drop them down to a lower rate, if possible. At the moment I seem to be sort of struggling to maintain what I've got, and I haven't got a fantastic army. It's not bad, it's not fantastic. I haven't got a fantastic navy either, although I've now recruited some fairly decent ships into it. It's nothing like some of the bigger navies that are around me though, so I do have a lot of territories, and I have stripped them fairly bare of armed forces, so I still find that I need to raise the higher taxes to keep the wheels on the bus, as they say. Anyhow, this is my super duper new navy. It's fairly small, but it's got some pretty decent ships in it. Got a couple of second rates in there, which I'm very proud of. My dilemma now is where to land them. Karnataka's around the other side, up near Ceylon there, the top of Ceylon. There's a fleet there that I can attack as well. Mysore is the nearest place, but it doesn't have a port. It's a wealthy area though. If I was to take Mysore, it would give me a decent income, but then it takes a long time to settle. What I'd like to do, most of all, really, would be to send the brig somewhere to land the troops, and then send the rest of my navy to go and attack that fleet there, and get some financial reward for that. The problem is that I can't tell which ship has got my army on. It's one of the problems with Empire Total War. You can fiddle about with every single ship, pulling one out, pulling another one out, pulling another out, to see which one the troops are on. There you go, pulled the brig out and there are no troops on it at all. So that leaves me with a bit of a dilemma now. It's pulling each ship out individually, or it's just moving the whole fleet in. And I think, rather than go all the way round for Karnataka, what I'm going to do is just checking the characteristics of the fleet there, of course. Well, the ship rather. I'm going to go for the nearest port. Now that's Goa. Goa is one of my objectives, but it doesn't yield much in terms of taxation. In fact, its general income for the whole of the place is very poor anyway, so I'm going to go for Mysore instead. Now Mysore are an ally of the Marathas. Doesn't really matter if I make an enemy of them, because I'm going to wipe them out anyway, and there's only one of them. I wouldn't be able to trade with them. I've tried before, so there's nothing else I can do with the Mysoreans other than simply wipe them out, which is what I intend to do. I've got a very large army there. I'm not going to fight this battle, you'll be very pleased to hear. 20 units attacking a fortress with a fairly decent amount inside it is going to be one heck of a mega battle, so it would take about 6 videos to complete the damn thing, I think. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do an automatic resolve on that one. Provided the stats look good, there's plenty of green, that is. If it's evenly balanced, it's certainly not worth doing at all, because it could go completely against you. Auto resolves when you're fairly well balanced. In terms of green and red on the slide rule, which you're about to see, definitely not to be messed around with. See, he's got a fair number in there, lots of them local citizenry. There you go, that's easily fallen. So that's the end of the Mysoreans, the end of an ally for the Marathas. We're right in the middle of India now, but we do have a large force. It's going to take us a while to get it back up to strength now, I'm afraid, and they're not going to be very happy about paying taxes, but I'm still going to raise the taxes, and the reason for that is that the most they're likely to do in the first turn is to riot anyway, so we'll suffer a riot, that'll be okay. And then I'll have to think about whether I can suffer a rebellion or not. Should have enough troops in there to be able to suppress a rebellion, and that will bring down, or rather raise the repression in the area quite high, so I'm going to get rid of the university. That's no good. It just gives a -5 or something on the happiness, the general happiness of the population. So we'll get rid of that. I'm going to build a church on there. There's loads and loads of industry around here. It's a very lucrative area. I might consider, depending on what he comes to damage, and he's bound to. Those Marathas around there are highly likely to come in and damage those buildings. So I'll just find out which one he's damaged and then make that one into a church. I think. Well, when we're a bit more settled, anyway. Okay, so that's the technique for now. Now I've got my eye on this fleet. This is the one that's been blockading Ceylon for some time. I don't know where his other ships are. Haven't seen them. I'm just presuming they're somewhere on their way to the Americas with an army on board, and that's why I'm blockading the southern parts of America there. So the French Guiana and Dutch Guiana, and indeed further up as well. But anyhow, less ships than him, but I've got some good ships. He's taken some damage, we've had no damage. We should be fairly successful on this one. Don't risk these to auto-resolves, I know I've said that before. This is the general setup that you get of your boats. They're all in line to begin with. I've simply grouped them all and then moved them towards the enemy slightly over to the right. He's moving over to his left, which means that we're aiming to cross the T. Rarely do we actually get the chance to do that. He's going this way, of course, so I haven't got the wind directly with me, which is what would have happened if I'd have gone to the left, my left, and he to his right. Okay, with him having such small ships, I don't want to blow any of them out of the water. I've got some big gun ships here with a lot of firepower, so I don't want to be blowing anybody up really. What I want to do is stand them still in the water by taking out their sails. Once I've done that, I'll rake them with grape shot and upset their morale. So that's the general plan. Usually what happens, I'm sure you remember, is I end up going between the first two ships, or maybe just after the second ship, and I get to fire both sides, broadsides from both left and right as I go in. Yeah. General technique, and then we'll do our usual circling. I'll include it on the next battle as well, on the next video, sorry, so you can see the end of the battle, because I know you like to watch naval battles. Yeah. I hope to get a few close-ups in as well on the next video. So, we've taken Mysore. We're about to defeat his fleet in the Indian Ocean. Let's hope there aren't any others around. And then we might be able to free up that army in Ceylon and do something with that as well. So I hope to see you on video 116.